Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star original continent based on novel. So let's start. Luo Feng, Darkness Master, and Mosha body flew at high speed in the tumbling godly power ocean. They quickly reached light speed and entered the dark universe. They showed up 100 billion kilometers away, gathering with other universe masters from the human team. Luo Feng. Darkness. The universe masters from the human team were all thrilled, especially the human universe masters. They weren't sure how many universe masters had been captured, but Primal Chaos City leader could infer from his palm universe. He knew how many true treasure palaces were captured, and he could infer the quantity. Primal Chaos City leader said it was around 200. Milky Way Horde leader, how many universe masters did you capture? Yeah, how many? How many universe masters? The universe masters of other races were also excited. This was a legendary event, which might not have happened in other universe eras. After all, so much was required to capture over 100 universe masters. How many? Luo Feng, Darkness, Ice Mountain Master and Remote Lord Master all asked, and even Primal Chaos City leader was looking at them expectantly. Luo Feng and Darkness Master exchanged a glance. 208, said Luo Feng. Ha! Long Yang Master yelled. Primal Chaos City leader's eyes gleamed, and he shouted, wonderful. Impressive. 208. They captured more than 200 universe masters at one time. I've never heard of such a thing. It's a miracle in universe ocean. Universe masters of other races were all exclaiming. The 3 ancestral gods, the 8 beast gods, and 9 remoteness master were all amazed. Everyone was overjoyed. Darkness Master was still shaking his head. Shame. When we were capturing the true treasure palaces, those universe masters from the Freedom Alliance were all resisting us, which cost us time. Otherwise, we could have captured more. The resistance from the opposite side had indeed made Luo Feng and Darkness Master much less efficient. For instance, when they were trying to swallow the palaces, the opposite side shrank their true treasure palaces. The true treasure palaces were generally normal-sized at several million kilometers long. When they were being sucked in, those true treasure palaces shrank to the size of a speck of dust, making them much farther away from Black Prison Tower. Even if they were flying at 100,000 kilometers a second, it still took them a long time to be sucked in. Of course, Luo Feng and Darkness Master had their ways to cope with it. All in all, the Freedom Alliance had been trying to resist being sucked in, or at least stall for time, which was why half the members from the Freedom Alliance had gotten away even though Luo Feng had remote ocean. However, capturing half was good enough for the humans. Universe masters from the human team gathered while those from United Forces Alliance were trapped in remote ocean. All 11 universe supreme masters were enlarging their bodies, trying to escape from remote ocean. However, they struggled against the ocean waters. Although Luo Feng was burning his godly power, he didn't care about that at all. After all, compared to the entire remote ocean, the godly power being burned was nothing. Get in, Bug Empress said through her mind. Everyone, get in. Okay. Okay. Shahua Island leader reached out his hands and grabbed the edge of Empress Palace. He shrank and clung to the surface of Empress Palace. Shock Demon Ancestor, Dream Demon Ancestor, Father God, Eju, Black Universe Creator, and the others all grabbed onto the surface of Empress Palace. None of the Universe Supreme Masters got into the palace. They didn't dare. If they went it, their lives would be in the hands of Bug Empress. They were all carrying Universe Masters. Bug Empress wasn't carrying many Universe Masters, so she wouldn't turn on them yet, but if they got in, and she did turn on them, she would control great power, and become the reigning being in the original universe. All 11 Universe Supreme Masters clung to the surface of Empress Palace. Larger, larger, larger. Bug Empress said, controlling the palace. Empress Palace was growing larger and larger. With Empress Palace becoming larger, the Universe Supreme Masters were also moving forward swiftly. Luo Feng turned around and shook his head. It was easy for a supreme true treasure to be taller than several light years, like Star Tower, which could reach 9 light years. With endless godly power, Empress Palace could be taller than more than 10 light years. His remote ocean body was after a godly body, which couldn't bulge indefinitely. Luo Feng stopped hindering them after a short while, as Empress Palace was already over 1 trillion kilometers. Back. That remote ocean that was already 1 trillion kilometers long started to retract. Empress Palace faced much less resistance and suddenly became larger. All 11 Universe Supreme Masters fled out of remote ocean. A being in human form, engulfed in flames, floated and exclaimed, "Finally, we got out." Luo Feng's godly power ocean is indeed a handful. Without Empress Palace, it would have taken us a much longer time to get out, Father God from the automaton race side. Facing the endless remote ocean, individuals couldn't flee immediately, the only way was to fly slowly. The 3 ancestral gods couldn't control 5-color Aurora Lake to continuously suppress them, and Primal Chaos City Leader couldn't control Palm Universe all the time, as it required too much godly power. Only Luo Feng dared to consume his godly power as much as he wanted. If he was the only one trying to slow them down, they could at least reach 1/10 light speed. It was difficult to move remote ocean, so Luo Feng had to keep enlarging remote ocean to stop them. However, he couldn't enlarge it infinitely, and he certainly couldn't enlarge the ocean to 10 light years long. The United Forces Alliance could fly for 10 years, or 100 years and leave the ocean. Fortunately, said Shock Demon Ancestor in a low voice. It's almost impossible for him to move that ocean. No wonder Star Tower didn't move at all. It was hiding the endless godly power ocean the whole time. It's difficult to move, which means Luo Feng can't take the godly power ocean out for battle. Even if the supreme true treasure holds the godly power ocean, it can only stay in one spot. Everyone nodded. It was true. After having the godly power ocean in it, even Star Tower couldn't enter the God Country portal, as it would have shattered the portal. If Luo Feng stands still, or a boat of Mausoleum, or Star Tower stands still, we'll try to avoid them, said Northern Territory Alliance Master. If he can move easily, it means he doesn't carry his godly power ocean. After that war, Luo Feng was at the top of the list for those Universe Supreme Masters, and they were extremely careful. He was absolutely a risk, who should be treated seriously. Although the godly power ocean is enormous, Luo Feng's soul is a human soul to its core. Prison Race Devil Master said. Once he becomes a Universe Supreme Master, he'll return to the origin, and his bodies will be combined in one, turning back to a human. His godly power ocean is enormous, but it's bestowed by the original universe. Once he makes a breakthrough, his God Country will become a miniature universe. His bodies will be combined as one, and his human godly body won't take that much power. Lots of godly power will be consumed when combining the bodies. Then his godly power won't be so incredible. That's right, everyone exclaimed. Yes. When he becomes a Universe Supreme Master, and all the bodies return to his original body, he won't be such a handful in the original universe. Luo Feng now had 4 bodies. All of them could wield power at top tier level 6, yet Universe Supreme Masters only had 1 body. Besides, Luo Feng's endless ocean had limitless godly power, so he was more difficult to deal with than Universe Supreme Masters. Of course, that was the case in the original universe. In Universe Ocean, Universe Supreme Masters were still more terrifying. After becoming a Universe Supreme Master, he'll be on his own. Bodies and inherited techniques will both be gone, e.g. side. However, it's different for 9 Remoteness Master, as his original body is that godly power ocean. Even if he becomes a Supreme Master in the future, his godly body will still be the godly power ocean. E.g., Black Universe Creator, Northern Territory Alliance Master, and Shahua Island Leader were not worried, as they didn't have races to care for. However, Shock Demon Ancestor, Dream Demon Ancestor, and Prison Race Devil Master were all concerned about the fight. Please stop talking about Luo Feng. We've lost the fight, Space Beast Ancestor said in his ancient voice. What should we do now? That's right, what should we do? Father God from the automaton race was worried as well. Northern Territory Alliance Master shook his head. What can we do? The human team captured more than 200 Universe Masters. As long as Luo Feng, Primal Chaos City Leader, and the other leaders from the human team are suicidal, they won't kill those Universe Masters. Instead, they'll try to draw them to their side. Those captured Universe Masters will surrender to the humans very soon, for themselves and for their races as well. Lots of Universe Masters in the Freedom Alliance are close friends with them, and some of them even belong to the same race, so more will be drawn to the humans. Right now, the human team has more than 400 Universe Masters. As for us, we only have more than 600 even after counting those from the Freedom Alliance. Although we have quite a few Universe Supreme Masters, Luo Feng has 4 bodies. Plus, we can't forget Primal Chaos City Leader, Darkness Master, Peng Gong Master, and the 3 Ancestral Gods. Combined, they are almost as powerful as us. Although we have more Universe Masters, they have 2 Mind Shock valuables, so they can easily sweep across 2 of our teams. Besides, the humans will definitely choose the 2 teams with most members. If we divide them into too many teams, we'll have weak defense and be conquered one by one. Which means the only advantage we have is neutralized by the 2 Mind Shock valuables. They also have a valuable that can control space and time, and the power seems to be stronger than Domain Supreme True Treasures. We don't have any chance to win, and we can only remain locked in a stalemate. It's a lose-lose. Although they were already aware of the situation, Dream Demon Ancestor, Shock Demon Ancestor, Father God of the Automaton Race, Empress of the Bug Clan, Demon Ancestor of the Prison Clan, and Holy Master of the Crystal Clan, who are all members of the United Forces Alliance, felt even more frustrated after hearing from the Northern Territory Alliance. There was already bad blood between the humans and themselves to begin with, and with such intense crossfire this time around, how would the humans not bear any grudges? In the future, when the humans grew stronger and more powerful, would they not seek vengeance? Even so, the United Forces camp no longer had the strength to suppress the humans. The advantage of having more Universe Masters was offset entirely by their opponents' 2 treasures with impactful willpower. If they were to really fight all the way, they would be fighting a life-and-death battle, a war of persistence, a war of attrition. Even if a few races were willing to go the distance, the Freedom Alliance, the Northern Territory Alliance, and the Space Beast Alliance would not be willing to do so. And if these alliances did not join in the fight, then depending on the few other races, they would not be fighting a war of attrition, rather, they would be trampled upon. This war. Bug Empress's voice was brimming with charm as she spoke. We have already failed. The rise of the human race is unstoppable. When the humans get stronger in the future, the enmity we have formed this time around will be a solid justification to attack us. Yes. That's right. One by one, they all nodded. This is why we need to help one another and form a long-standing, but dispersed alliance, said Bug Empress. An alliance specially assigned to deal with any threats from the humans. This alliance will not ask for anything else, only that in the future, when the threat from the humans becomes overbearing, we help one another and allow our race to survive. What do you think of this suggestion? Father God of the Automaton Race, Devil Ancestor of the Prison Clan, and the rest all showed approving looks. Northern Territory Alliance Master, Ju, Virtual Real Devil God, and the few other lone travelers were all very easygoing. They have retreated. The United Forces Alliance has left. Numerous Universe Masters stood in the upper skies of the endless remote ocean and looked into the distance. They saw Empress Palace making a hasty departure, moving so quickly that they could detect the waves created within space. Obviously, it was teleporting away. The human camp rejoiced and celebrated. Without a doubt, they had started this war as the weaker party, but by relying on the strength of remote ocean, the tables had been turned in just a short period. Then, mightily, a group of Universe Masters, including those from Ancestral God School, headed toward the core ground of the primal secret region where the clusters of palaces were. All guards and servants also boarded God Country transportation and hastily returned to the primal secret region. An extremely lavish celebration banquet commenced, and the universe masters from the human race were the most excited ones at the banquet. Universe masters from various other races were delighted, too, because the humans would be having good days ahead, and they, as vassal races of the humans, could look forward to leading better lives as well. After the banquet, universe masters of the various other races left, but the universe masters from the human race gathered and sat down in various spots. Before them was a simple spread of precious wine and fine cuisine from various parts of the universe. Our race managed a definitive victory this time. Primal Chaos City Leader was tearing up, but his voice was as powerful as ever. It is fated that our race shall establish a deep and firm foundation within the primal universe. Even if the United Forces Alliance joins forces with other groups of powers within the primal universe, they will not be able to shake our foothold. Future power and prosperity are within our reach. Our race has lived through Teacher Origin's era and Huge Axe's era, and now, we are truly entering an era of power and prosperity. He sighed. Teacher Origin once led our race. We rose from a race of humble origins to be ranked as one of the pinnacle races. When Teacher was subsequently subjected to eternal suppression by the primal universe, we were lucky enough, for we had someone like Huge Axe to look out for us. Our position remained unshaken. Dead silence. Every universe master was either lost in his own imagination or reminiscing on past events. Huge Axe's annihilation brought us all great pain, Primal Chaos City Leader said in a low voice. We had to worry about the safety of our race back then, so all this while, no one really bothered looking into the matter of his annihilation. The story of his sudden annihilation within the core of Tilted Peak region, deep down in the land of darkness, is full of abnormal occurrences. 1. The map is fake, so who was the mastermind behind these plots? 2. Huge Axe was undoubtedly aware of how horrifying the land of darkness is, so how could he have fallen into it? 3. Given Huge Axe's power, how is it possible that he could be annihilated so suddenly? Of course, he added in a solemn tone, the land of darkness is the core region of Tilted Peak sector, so it is extremely dangerous. All of us may know this, but none of us is confident enough, so no one dares to barge their way in. Yes. True, we cannot subject our race to such a heavy loss again. All of them nodded. They were all aware that Huge Axe's annihilation had been a devastating loss for the humans. They could not afford yet another loss. This time around, our race scored big time, said Primal Chaos City Leader. Luo Feng has made a great contribution. He looked at Luo Feng. We should all toast to Luo Feng. Yes, we really owe this victory to Luo Feng. To Luo Feng. Everyone raised their glasses and looked at Luo Feng. They saw for themselves and knew that Luo Feng had made the greatest contribution, especially when he used his endless remote ocean to resist the soul attack from the entire United Forces Alliance. How terrifying it had been. But Luo Feng had actually managed to survive, while taking it entirely upon himself to resist that attack. At that time, they were all filled with immeasurable gratitude and admiration. Luo Feng quickly picked up his glass. Honestly speaking, I kind of caused this disaster by receiving that ancient civilization's voice transmission. I also made a mistake. How is this considered a mistake? Someone called out. Our race is so powerful now, all thanks to this ancient civilization. Come, let's have a toast. Cheers. Luo Feng was left with no choice but to respond to every single toast. Primal Chaos City Leader saw the situation and smiled. Without further ado, he said, all right. Now, let's discuss another matter. This time, we captured a total of 208 Universe Masters. First, we will need to rope them into joining our camp, that's for sure. Their presence will strengthen us. Second, we still need to practice caution, so as to prevent them from betraying us. Third, how are we going to prevent them from betraying us? And how are we going to win them over so that they feel a sense of belonging for our camp? How do we get them to join our side willingly? Everyone, share your thoughts. One by one, the Universe Masters proposed their suggestions. Soon, a simple yet effective proposal was implemented. Firstly, because the situation in the primal universe was still dangerous, the majority of the universe masters would definitely stay together. Since the original universe was so massive, sending almost all the universe masters to the original universe was a confirmed arrangement. After all, if they were all widely dispersed, it would be terrible if they all took off. Second, they should not bring out the anger and dissatisfaction of these universe masters. That was why, for every 10 eras, every single universe master would be given a period of 1 era, during which they were allowed to roam about the primal universe and universe ocean to their heart's content with absolute freedom. After all, great beings spent the majority of their time on cultivation. When they were cultivating in the original universe, they only had 1/10 of the time when they were absolutely free. This was a way of pleasing those universe masters. At the same time, as the universe masters would take turns having this free time, it was also a good way to guarantee that at least 80% of the universe masters would remain in the original universe at any given time. Third, those universe masters would surely be concerned with the safety of their own races. This was why several universe knights would be deployed to the races in question, where they would remain as permanent residents. These universe knights were stationed there mainly for security purposes. When dangerous situations arose, these universe knights would be the ones handling them, but when there were extremely difficult situations, the headquarters of the human camp would immediately send a group of universe masters to render assistance. Fourth, there would be gradual sharing of detailed information about the ancient civilization, on how universe masters could achieve breakthroughs to become universe supreme masters. The longer these universe masters remained within the human camp, the more information they would be given. This was a way of instilling a sense of longing within these universe masters. Fifth, while roaming within universe ocean, the help rendered to the universe masters had to be reinforced, so that the universe masters would be able to see how strong the humans were, and also realize the benefits of having such strong backing. The human camp started planning. Those universe masters whose fates rested in the hands of the humans most certainly had no other opinions. They were glad to oblige. However, when the humans asked them to contact their close friends and universe masters from their clans in the Freedom Alliance, these universe masters hesitated and came up with a load of excuses. But the humans were not anxious in the least. Everything was happening in accordance with their expectations. Other than the ancestral god school, the other universe masters of the human camp were quick to formally join the Hong Alliance. After all, they would eventually be permanent members. Given their capabilities, the human race would be able to lay a stronger foundation. Meanwhile, in the faraway East Emperor Holy Land universe, the human race has won. Apparently, East Emperor Ancestor was very dissatisfied when he learned the news. Indeed, he has received the inheritance of the Pulse of Duan Dong River. Up until now, he still had various means and techniques to use. It is just that, this inheritance is still not mine to behold. East Emperor Ancestor was furious, yet helpless. He had intended for the humans to suffer a crushing defeat. When the humans fell into a predicament, he, East Emperor Ancestor, would take over leadership and negotiate with Luo Feng in handing over the inheritance as a part of the conditional exchange. That way, the success rate would be more likely. But now, trouble was brewing. Purple Moon Holy Land Universe. Oh? A faint purple-robed shadow asked from where he stood. The United Forces Alliance has lost. Even with the help of the Freedom Alliance. Yes, Ancestor, Juhua True God replied with deference. Ever since the breakthrough of a reincarnation era achieved by East Emperor Ancestor, and for countless generations of reincarnation eras thereafter, every reincarnation era saw the births of many universe supreme masters. Yet all the while, no one had been able to transcend a reincarnation era as East Emperor Ancestor had. That is, until Purple Moon Ancestor made his appearance. Ancestor, that United Forces Alliance has lost, said Juhua True God. We had promised to give them the second half of the inheritance, so are we still giving it to them? Since they lost and disappointed you, they are in no place to ask for any reward. Even if we do not give it to them, there is nothing they can do. Apparently, Juhua True God was most unwilling to oblige. Of course, we must give it to them, said Purple Moon Ancestor. We made a promise, So we must fulfill it. We, Purple Moon, cannot stoop to the level of being unfaithful before the lesser races. Ancestor is much too kind, Juhua True God replied right away. Those races from the primal universe are truly blessed. Purple Moon Ancestor continued to say, not only the Freedom Alliance. We must also give it to the Bug Clan, the Demons, the Automaton race, and all other races of the United Forces Alliance. We must give it to all of them. Impart the experience of the ancient civilization on how their universe masters can achieve breakthroughs to become universe supreme masters. Juhua True God was taken aback. Giving it to the Freedom Alliance was fine. After all, this had already been promised earlier. But giving it to the United Forces camp? There had been no such promise. Ancestor. Juhua True God could not resist the urge to ask. The rate at which the human that received the inheritance of the pulse of Duan Dong River rose was fast to begin with, Purple Moon Ancestor said. If we do not provide them with some help, where else can the United Forces Alliance find the power to resist? I still need to depend on their help in suppressing the humans. Besides, this little bit of inheritance, how much is it worth? At most, they could use it to create a few more true gods during their reincarnation era. But to transcend a reincarnation era, I think they are still hopeless. Juhua True God also nodded. Indeed, without the help of Purple Moon Ancestor, this reincarnation era of the primal universe would, normally, only be able to breed 20 to 30 universe supreme masters. With Purple Moon Ancestor's help, perhaps they might be able to bring this number up to around 100. Yet throughout the course of history, there had been generations and generations of reincarnation eras, which amounted to tens of thousands of reincarnation eras. Every reincarnation era had a batch of universe supreme masters. How many universe supreme masters did that mean? Yet the number who could transcend their reincarnation era was just 2. So long as we do not impart the inheritance on cultivating to the ultimate limit of a true god, there won't be much to worry about, Purple Moon Ancestor said. Just remember to keep a close watch over Luo Feng's every move. Noted, Juhua True God replied with much deference. Very soon, the second half of the inheritance information was handed over to the Freedom Alliance as promised by Purple Moon Holy Land. Lightwalker Master personally visited the various races like the Bug Clan, the Demons, the Automaton race, and the Prison Clan and imparted the complete inheritance information to them one by one. The Bug Clan, the Automaton race, and other races were all pleasantly surprised, but they were not without worry. The war among the top beings from almost all the superpowers in the original universe was over, yet the ordinary life forms didn't know anything about it. Lower-tier wars would be catastrophic to them, yet the war among the top beings didn't affect them at all. Of course, if one side lost, the beings in their territories would be ruthlessly slaughtered. The United Forces didn't win. The human team didn't lose. This was how the war had ended. It could have been foreseen that the two teams would keep fighting each other for a long time. Unless one side was absolutely confident that they could crush the other side, such a large-scale war wouldn't happen again. Hu Yangbo had died, and Yunmo's star had been destroyed. However, since Barbata had become undying, he had rebuilt Yunmo's star quickly, taking back the power area that had previously belonged to Hu Yangbo before, except for the area around Earth. Purple stars shone their light upon Yunmo's star through dark clouds. On Earth were warriors gathered from all kinds of planets. They were trained strictly on the planet, while warriors most loyal to the master of Yunmo's star would be chosen from among these candidates. "Come at me, idiots from a Luo star," a giant being roared at the camp opposite to him. "I'm right here waiting. Come if you can." The giant had a red horn on his forehead. He stood just outside the camp. The members of the opposite side were irritated. Someone tried to rush out, but they were pulled back. "What a maniac! Are you suicidal?" A voice came from the camp. "Don't worry about that maniac." The single-horned giant man was reckless. "Idiots from a Luo star, you are cowards. You'll be cowards before me forever." A being appeared in the sky. He wore a casual, silver-white cape as he floated in the sky. He looked down and whispered, Is this how Yunmo Star looked like before it was destroyed? Barbata spent so much time rebuilding it. It seems Hu Yangbo does have a strong impact on him. Then Luo Feng kept flying. He flew relaxedly. Neither the security guards nor the other means of detection spotted him. Some warriors flew past in front of him, but they didn't notice him either. This was what true control over space and time meant. He flew for a while as he wanted to observe Yunmo Star, and it took him a while to arrive above a black castle. Luo Feng looked down and shouted, "Barbata." On the throne inside the palace sat a child in a black cape. He had 2 antennae on his forehead and red eyes. His face was chubby. He may have looked cute, but the female servants from other planets who were performing down there knew how terrifying he was. "Barbata," said a voice. The black-caped child raised his head. He teleported and disappeared. In the sky above the black castle, the silver-caped form of Luo Feng stood in the sky, and a black-caped child appeared beside him. The black-caped child looked at Luo Feng and shouted, "Master. You seem pretty relaxed," Luo Feng chuckled. "But it seems you're still practicing hard. You can teleport now. The resources you provided, and the path you suggested," said Barbata. "Even the most mediocre can become undying, not to mention someone smart like me." The ordinary class didn't know about that war, but Barbata was undying and had been summoned to the primal universe before. The undying fighters had come back only after the war had ended. Besides, everyone in Primal Chaos City was talking about the war. Although they didn't know the details, they had heard that Luo Feng was one of the top performers. "Let's go to the outer space of Yunmo Star," said Luo Feng. "Why?" Barbata was confused. "I'm going to resurrect Hu Yangbo," said Luo Feng. Barbata's body shook, as he couldn't control his emotions. Luo Feng sighed in his heart. Barbata was, after all, closer to Hu Yangbo. There was still some distance between him and Barbata. For one thing, Barbata had called Luo Feng by his name at first, but as Luo Feng grew stronger, Barbata had started to revere him and call him master. How could he not be in awe of Luo Feng? Luo Feng was one of the top beings in the human race, even in the entire original universe. On the contrary, Barbata and Hu Yangbo had been through countless life-and-death battles, and they had spent an eternity going on adventures through the universe. Barbata had been with Hu Yangbo ever since becoming an intelligent life form. It was not difficult to imagine how close they had been. "Okay," said Barbata with thrill. "Let's go to outer space." Luo Feng nodded, took Barbata, and disappeared. In the outer space of Yunmo Star, Luo Feng, wearing his silver cape, stood outside the atmosphere while Barbata stood beside him, looking worried. "Watch closely," said Luo Feng. "Up." Luo Feng looked around the space in front of him. With a thought, time in the area started to turn back. The scenes were rewound, including the scene when Yunmo Star had been rebuilt and the scene when Yunmo Star had been attacked and destroyed. Luo Feng controlled time and accelerated the rewinding. "Huh!" Luo Feng stopped. The triangular Yunmo Star spaceship appeared. There were beings inside it. "Is it this one, Barbata?" asked Luo Feng. With a thought, the beings inside Yunmo Star spaceship appeared. A handsome man showed up at the front of the control room in the spaceship, and beings were standing behind him, including Barbata. "Wu Xie, Wu Xia," Barbata couldn't stop trembling, and he shouted at Luo Feng, "Yes, it's them. It's them." Luo Feng was surprised. Barbata was, indeed, closer to Hu Yangbo and his servants. He decided to resurrect those soul slaves as well, to show his gratitude to Barbata, and Hu Yangbo. Hu Yangbo's help seemed tiny now, but it was highly influential to him. "Freeze." Luo Feng moved his mind. It locked Yunmo space, Hu Yangbo, and his 9 soul slaves. Everyone was frozen in place. Turn back time. Luo Feng let the time go back to the original. It was like a spring bouncing back. Luo Feng didn't have to endure any burden if he decided not to save anyone, but there would be a price to pay if he wanted to bring back lives by taking them from the past to the present. The punishment was actually for Hu Yangbo and his 9 soul slaves, yet Luo Feng was the one who bore it, as they couldn't. To Luo Feng, it was easy for him to revive universe knights, not to mention some undying fighters. After a while, Yun Mo's spaceship floated in the sky. Apparently, Lu Feng had even brought back Yun Mo's star spaceship from that time. If a being was still alive, he couldn't bring it back. As for objects, however, they could be brought back even if they still existed. For example, an existing true treasure could be duplicated by bringing one from the past when turning back time. The punishment for this, however, would be horrifying. It would cost more to bring back a single true treasure than to get 10 new true treasures. Of course, the punishment for bringing back Yun Mo's star spaceship was nothing to Luo Feng. After all, Yun Mo's star spaceship wasn't even a treasure. The door opened, and a handsome man in a black cape strolled excitedly through the doorway. He took a step and walked into the space. Undying fighters behind him walked out one by one as well. They all looked excited and nervous. The handsome, black-caped man looked at Luo Feng, then noticed black-caped child beside him. "Barbata," he yelled. "Big brother." Barbata couldn't help it anymore. He teleported to beside the handsome man, Hu Yangbo, and hugged him. This man was both like a big brother and a father to him. "Big brother, big brother, big brother," Barbata kept shouting as he embraced Hu Yangbo, and his voice showed how much he had missed Hu Yangbo. Luo Feng looked in the distance and sighed. Barbata was indeed close with Hu Yangbo. Hu Yangbo and his 9 slaves were all dazed. They all had the memories from the past, so they all knew that they had died. Yet they had been brought back now. A universe master turned back time and revived them. How? What dazed them more was Barbata, who had previously only been an intelligent life form, had teleported to them. Teleportation. "Barbata, you're undying now," said an ape-shaped undying life form standing behind Hu Yangbo. "Yes." Barbata nodded. "With the help of my master, Milky Way Horde leader Luo Feng. I'm an undying emperor now, and I can teleport." Milky Way Horde leader. Hu Yangbo and his soul slaves were all bewildered. Of course, they knew Milky Way. Hu Yangbo had a land in the Milky Way, yet they had never heard of any Horde leader. They hadn't expected a Milky Way Horde leader to be here after being resurrected, and they couldn't imagine that Barbata, who had previously been an intelligent life form, was an undying emperor stronger than all of them now. After all, Hu Yangbo was only an official. How long have we been dead? 10 million years. 100 million years. Hu Yangbo couldn't help asking. And who is this Milky Way Horde leader Luo Feng? Milky Way Horde leader is one of the top beings in the human race, and is also one of the supreme beings in the original universe, answered Barbata. It was Master Luo Feng who turned back time and resurrected you all. That is Master Luo Feng. He pointed at Luo Feng in the distance. Hu Yangbo and his slaves turned around to look at the silver-caped man standing in the distance. Their attention had been entirely on Barbata. Until he pointed at Luo Feng, they hadn't even realized he was standing there. The silver-caped man walked forward, which astounded Hu Yangbo and his slaves. Amazing. This was a being who could turn back time. They were nothing in front of such a being. "Teacher Hu Yangbo," said the silver-caped man. "This video will end here.